Good evening, gang. Firstly, I want to apologize for that madness that happened on the live stream earlier on today. It wasn't a B, all right? It was nothing small, because when you've got something hovering, stealth mode, couldn't even hear it buzz. But only when I pulled out the acupuncture slipper and I threw it at it, that's when it started to get a little bit angry at me. Reading a few of the comments, people were like, yeah, Tino, that's a good luck charm. You know, I'll take that. And then people are like, do you know how poisonous that bad boy is? I'm like, and now people are saying it's only a B. Please, bruv. Okay? It was not just a B. This thing was violating my oxygen. Like, I was sharing my oxygen with that, and I felt intimidated. And you can try and do Bitcoin price action like, yes, Bitcoin to the upside, and yeah, just be mindful of the bids, and then slap in your face. You got this. Nah, man, I don't care, all right? If you were in my position, you'd do exactly the same thing. That's stupid, just hovering, bruv. It was bizarre. It wasn't a great experience, but now my windows are closed, so you ain't coming in here. But you all had your laugh. Yeah, I know. You had your laugh. So anybody new to the channel, okay, just go and watch the live stream from earlier on today, around about the 15-minute mark. That's when the madness unfolded. Talking about madness, what on earth has happened today in the stock market? NASDAQ and S&P. The sell button doesn't work. Well, actually, it does. I took some trades today, and I'm going to break them down for you. And we've had a decent day today, all right? So I'll explain that very shortly. But I'm kind of cheesed off with myself because I put myself into a situation where I was expecting a certain move to come into action. Part of the move came into play, and then I was like, right, I've got to make a move now. And I was like, I bet you I come back, and it's gone completely beyond that point based on the logic of the hybrid system. And I'm going to show you that. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to break this play down and just really help you guys understand how you can utilize it, all right? So with that being said, Bitcoin, apparently it's a fake move, and stop worrying about it. Just use this opportunity to buy Bitcoin on the cheap. Now, look, this is starting to really get on my nerves. CPI data is coming out tomorrow, and they're already going on the idea that it's all good, okay? NASDAQ is up 1% for the day. That is an accumulation day. So that's great news for the stock market. We got some heavyweights on fortune.com suggesting that the AI bubble is going to be, AI rally is the dot-com bubble. So we're going to see effectively one crash in the AI markets. This guy was slating NVIDIA, saying that these chips are going to get more and more and more expensive, let alone the costs to actually run them. But Wall Street doesn't care, bro. At the end of the day, there's still $6 trillion stuck in the ETF money markets. People want to put their liquidity to work. An article that we're going to talk about is suggesting that cryptocurrency, or should I say the real world assets, could get to around $30 trillion by the year 2034. $30 trillion. Now we're starting to talk about it. Saw another video saying that Bitcoin to $1 million is coming into play. Okay. Remember, man, XRP, I'm not even going to talk about it tonight. I'm done with it so badly. You guys are probably done with it, but you obviously have fun and have a little bit of a laugh and a joke on this XRP story. And someone said, you're only talking about XRP so you can offload your bags. Brother, let's be honest. Do you call price going from 47 to 50 cents and back to 47 to 47 and a half to 47 to 50, 50.5 back down to 49, offloading your bags? Come on, bruv. You're mad. The thing doesn't move. I've got nothing else to do but buy the coin because it doesn't move. I've got no reason to sell it. I've got every reason to buy it because it does nothing. It's just put some money there and hope that I can get a couple of cents profit and then Move it back into USDC. Again, oh man, just stop it. Tino, it's done. Welcome to tonight's live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get all the fun and jazz to the side. We've got a very important day coming out tomorrow, and I'm going to give you my spin on it. And I hope it doesn't come to fruition. I really don't. Because, man, how far can the stock market go? And then you've got Bitcoin doing nothing. Shut up. Sorry. Well, I'm on a short fuse today. Sam! The butler's back. So, got my cup here. So things seem to be in order, all right? He's on B watch. Let's get with the program, man. Here we go. All right, then. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we got. So, apparently, Bitcoin price decline on Germany, Mt. Gox, and the miner selling pressure may be overblown. So, they're saying now that it's irrational fears. So, people are overreacting to what's going on. And they're saying that it's a buying opportunity for investors. How many of you are of the impression that this is a good buying opportunity in Bitcoin? I want to know in the comments. Would you be comfortable buying Bitcoin now? Okay? Because that's what everybody's looking for right now. Now, we have quite a relatively busy month in the sense where data's coming out, but we're all waiting for something to happen with the ETFs on Ethereum. Check this out. Ethereum price data points to an impending rally above 3,400. So the metrics, it goes into it. It says Ether supply on exchanges continues to decline. And it goes into talk about how we've seen so much in going into the ETFs themselves, about $654 million going into ETFs. Are they preparing for the rally to the upside in the sense once the ETF comes into play? Well, when you've got whales transferring $50 million worth of Ethereum as spot ETFs inch closer to listing, we're probably going to see again, I've said this before, guys, okay? When you're looking to invest in a stock, all right, you want to know more about what the stock can do. What's the service it provides? What's its quarterly earnings? What's its fundamentals overall? Can you actually generate a decent earnings per share? What debt do they carry? How many funds hold the stock? What's its average daily turnover in terms of volumes of shares traded? All right. NVIDIA would be a perfect example. Stellar performance, stellar fundamentals. Okay. And only a blowout in the AI situation would cause NVIDIA to come down. But the 10-to-1 stock split on NVIDIA is what's getting people more encouraged to buy NVIDIA with the logic of it going up even more. Remember, they're talking about a $6 trillion market cap for NVIDIA. Well, it's at 3.5 now, maybe even more. So I won't be surprised if we actually are at are we at the 4 trillion mark yet? I mean, come on, surely not. Surely not. We're at that mark of the NVIDIA. They would be talking about it all day, every day. Here we go. 400 million shares, man. Jesus. 3.3. $3.3 trillion market cap. Unbelievable. Stellar performance. Earnings per share, expected 2025, 108% increase, 2026, 35% increase. Like, you're done. My price projection for NVIDIA is $500. That's what I'm looking for with NVIDIA. All right? You heard it here. Now, going into it all. So, when you're looking for stocks, there's always going to be a development of something. So, someone might be in the know about the stock in the sense where they could be getting involved in a contract to provide a specific service, okay? Then the contract approval comes into play, and then it becomes public knowledge, and then it all starts to make the move on the back of the fact that they've caught this contract to do business, okay? Like, imagine a government contract, for example. This is exactly the same scenario, all right? Which is why usually we tend to see the ETFs or something big in crypto ends up becoming buy the rumor, sell the news event kind of story. Which means that if they're all preparing for a move in Ethereum right now, then we're going to get the rally to the upside ever so slightly. But then once the ETF comes in, retail comes in and says, oh my God, I can buy the ETF. Then there'll be this climatic rally, which will then send Ethereum higher. And then we will get the corrective move back down again to reset the hype behind the ETF itself. Because remember, I've said this once and I'll say it again, okay? If you remember the first time when we were getting into this ETF story, I said to everyone, wait a couple of weeks because they will mark up for a bit, then it will come back down, then it will rally out. Go and have a look at the Bitcoin ETF. Look what happened at the start of it. Where is it? Look, daily time frame. It came out, collapsed. If you had waited from the 11th of January going in towards the 24th of January, and you started buying up the Bitcoin ETF or Bitcoin at that time, you would have then seen the success of a lovely move to the upside on the ETF, okay? So just remember, those of you that want to get involved in the Ethereum ETF, wait. Wait for the initial offering of the ETF. Then there are guys that are going to be taking profit on it, which is what this is right here. And then it will find its steam, okay? Now going into something very interesting. Goldman Sachs reveals secret crypto plans, 3 projects set to shake. To summarize it, the big players, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, they're all getting involved in the real world asset story, okay? With that being said, Standard & Charter reports 30 trillion tokenized real world asset market by 2034. So this is going to be a very interesting time to start getting involved in the real world assets or whatever gets tokenized, okay? And of course, you can imagine Goldman Sachs and BlackRock are going to be the guys that are going to be pushing it to the mom and dad investors. That's the marketplace that we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. So although it is kind of far away, you know, it's 10 years from now. I mean, what do you think Bitcoin's price will be in 10 years' time? That'll be one for you. Come on, I want to know. Give me your price projections. And then throw in a couple of projections of XRP, what you think the price point of that will be. Because they'll settle the business with the actual courts, with the SEC. That'll be done and dusted. And then the SEC will be like, well, we haven't had any activity in crypto lately. Let's just get XRP back in. Let's get Ripple back in and have a little conversation and then put a bit of pressure on them again. So then from now until 10 years' time, XRP would effectively have moved 5 cents to only then come back. I mean, look, anyway. Right, listen. Stock market. It's the longest rally this year, guys. And we are going into a very, very important day tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the core CPI data. All right. Word on the street is that inflation is going to come down. And apparently, according to JP Morgan, they're saying that tomorrow's volatility on the S&P is going to be crazy. Whether the CPI comes in lower, it's going to be even wild. And if it comes in higher, it's going to be even worse. Just look at the way that the stock market's behaving, man. What do you say? We've been calling for a $6,000, 6,000 reading on the S&P. I know you've heard me say that. And we are effectively, look how close we are to 6,000, man. Oh, my days. It's absolutely crazy. 21,000 NASDAQ. The Platinum members know. They know about this 20,000 story, man. They know about this, okay? And it's just unbelievable witnessing this madness happening. I just can't believe it. I really can't. It's all fueled by AI, okay? Which leads me to the following. Let me tell you about my trading day. So let's get into it. Gutted, to be fair, because if you look at this, right? Let me bring up the actual picture on the chart that I was using. So I was using this chart today, all right? Which this is the 1 hour time frame. And this was the range that I was looking at, all right? The Platinum members know about the block trade principle. And I'm going to be diving into that tonight after I do this live stream. I'm going to just do a little bit of a breakdown on a couple of other assets that we were talking about today at the power of this approach. But the idea of the block trade is you are highlighting specific vector candles at specific points and testing the idea that the reason the vector candle came into play to suggest the move to the upside, which is this instance right here, you can see I marked off the green vector candle inside of this range right here. And I wanted to trade back into the red vector candle zone. So the actual image that I should be showing you is this one right here. So my logic was that I was building positions inside of this range on the NASDAQ. The green vector candle was going to show me if they meant that they were going to go up towards the red vector candle, okay? So I was in longs on this. So I've been shorting the NASDAQ and I was going long on the NASDAQ today. And you see I've been marking off specific points where I'm going to be paying close attention to how price manipulates or moves around this zone. Now, what had happened was I had went long in this area here and it started to work its way up towards yesterday's high, okay? And I finalized the day and I'm pretty cheesed off because I could have held on to the trade, but I had to make a move. But if I held on to it towards the red vector candle and I was still in the position, when price got to this point up here, you can see what they ended up doing. Forgive me. You can see what they ended up doing. The green vector candle came into play, gone into the red vector candle, and then they just ran for it. Plus the success of the bonds options right here. So the bonds were successful and they had a good sale today at 39 billion. Now look, this figure here, 4.28, means that this is the interest rate of the bonds sold. So if the interest rate is lower, it means that people are buying bonds already. So lower interest rate means there's more interest, okay? And the bid to cover was 2.6, which tells you the number of bids made per bid accepted. So the fact that the interest rate came down meant that people were buying the bonds, which is good news. We want them to get into the bond market. We want the yields to go down, which means the stock market goes up. If you go and have a look at the yields themselves, you can see that the yields today took a little bit of a shoe bag to the downside. Where is it? Here she is. Look at that. She traded lower today. All right. So they were going down. Happy days. 10-year yield. They were down as well. So that didn't do too bad. That was great as well. And then you got the 10-year bonds just marking up, moving nicely. Okay. So that was a good sign for us. Okay. Now, to show you where I was at with my trading day today, we'll get Bitcoin back up in a second. Hold on. Let me just put you there. All right, then. Let me just go there. So where's my trading day today? So traded off across, where was it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts today. All right, let me just bring this up for you. So on our funded accounts, we managed to clear $14,539 on these funded accounts right here. We had a decent win rate today, 74%. 43 trades, 32 winners, 9 losing trades. So that was decent for us. And then on our Top Step Express accounts, if I just show you, we were able to take advantage of, here we go. So we made $988 on the one account. And then on the other account, we managed to make $1,663, which puts us on a day's gain for around $17,190 gain for today's trading. Now, for today's trading, I was very busy with it all. If I just show you. So I started taking the shorts. I was short at 5 to 3 today, and I got out at 5 to 3, and then 3 minutes later, I was out. I was just scalping a little bit there, and then at 20 to 4, and then by 4 o'clock, we made, it was about 20 minutes. It's about another $1,100 right there. I was just scalping today, like physically, really scalping, rather than just building positions. I was scalping today on the NASDAQ and just gave myself 3 sessions where I said I'm going to trade the first part of the session, took advantage of the short to the downside on the NASDAQ, and then traded the retrace back up, happy days. Then I waited for the consolidation, and then they came to bounce off the VWAP, and then they continued higher towards the red vector candle, which was up here, which is what I was looking for over this one. Traded to this one, and then I called it a day, and then it just continued to the upside. It could have been a very handsome day for me today, but 17,000, from yesterday's loss, which was so Monday we achieved a $6,000 gain. Then we lost $12,000 yesterday, but with the Monday's gain, that made that a minus 6K loss for the start of the week. Then we've made 17 back, so we are happy days, and we're good for our target for this month. Okay, so that was my trading day, but tomorrow it's going to be an interesting one. I will probably try and exploit tomorrow's core CPI data, but it's going to be a tricky one because it could be very, very volatile. If the data comes in and shows that inflation is going down, that should be the time Bitcoin makes the move to the upside, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. It's panicking. My computer's panicking. There we go. That should be the time when Bitcoin tries and makes a move to the upside. Just looking at it today, it's been horrible. Even the euro today, it's been choppy as hell. Hasn't gone anywhere. The only thing that did well today was gold. We had a projection on gold to see the move to the upside. It worked wonderfully. Let me just see that. No, it wasn't there. So we saw gold make the move to the upside. It completed the projection. And then we were looking for oil. Oil's projection came in nicely. I know those guys exploited that. It came back up to the upside. So that was happy days on oil. We've been trying to catch oil, but it was in line with the vector candle blocks that we marked off on our setup for the platinum guys. So oil did really well, but the things that really stalled out was Ethereum, was big. I mean, Ethereum hasn't done anything, man. And look, Solana, it's not done anything, and you can just tell that they're just waiting for the data to come out. Tomorrow will be the deciding factor, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to be straight with you all. If you're going to play the news event, just be very careful, because they could do some whipsaw price action before they actually come to terms with it. What do I mean by that? If tomorrow the data comes in and shows that the core CPI, because this is what the Fed looks for, it looks for this, all right? It's the Fed's favorite gauge, all right? So when they use, they pay attention to the prices. That's what they're interested. They are only interested in prices. Forget the CPI, this one here. Fed's interested in the core CPI, all right? And this is coming in at 0.2. If this comes in any higher than 0.2, inflation is sticky. They're already expecting CPI for the month to be up by 0.1%. Now, if the CPI year on year comes anything above 3.1%, that means if it goes up to 3.2, investors might not like that. They might not like it. And I said it this week. It's fitting that Powell has spoken before the CPI, gave the hint that we could be getting an interest rate cut in September. But if this reading tomorrow does not come in line with what the market is expecting, as the inflation to come down, and they come out with a surprise reading, all of what you've seen to the upside on the S&P and the NASDAQ will be compromised, in my opinion, because then they would have effectively priced in the idea of the rate cuts. That's what they've done. They've priced it in. Now we get and you can imagine if the inflation data comes out tomorrow and it's good news and the market drops, you would have been of the impression that they've actually priced it in, which means that we're then waiting for the day that Powell says, yes, we're going to cut the interest rates in September by X amount of points. That in principle would then lead NASDAQ to try and climb back up again. And then by the time we get to September, S&P and NASDAQ will make the move up. Fed pivot, brings it back down again for a corrective move. That's what I think could happen. Now, if you're going to trade that tomorrow, guys, even if you try and make magical sense of what's going on, I mean, look, the bid's right here. The bids, some bids are coming into play right here, all right? Not really seeing that much of a high concentration on the bids of Bitcoin, but zooming out a little bit, we said earlier on that they were pulling some of the bids. So it's starting to get a little bit weak on this area here, all right? But as we get closer and closer to CPI, data is going to be coming out to everybody, and they're going to be thinking, oh, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? What are we going to do? We're probably going to start seeing this coming into play, all right? And again, it's been a bit tricky today. Look, Bitcoin's down 1.14%. Ethereum was up nearly 1.2%. Solana is barely scratching the surface, okay? So it's all mixed across the board. It really is. You know, the only thing that moved was oil and gold successfully, you know? But when we look into it, guys, I'm just saying to you all, right, that after tomorrow's data, you've got two scenarios. If the data comes in line with expectations and it sticks at 3.1%, then the analysts have got it right. The market will probably just price in what's going on with what Powell said, rate cuts. So any moves down, we'll then start to see them go back up again, but at moderate pace. If we don't get 3.1 and it actually is lower, ladies and gentlemen, Fed pivot on its way. Everything will explode. It really will. But if it goes anything above 3.1%, even above 3.3, which is unlikely it will go to above 3.3%. I mean, if it does, yeah, man, it's going to be a bloodbath in my opinion. All right. So going back into it, how you decide to trade it, you're effectively preparing yourself for this. CPI consolidation. Some of you may remember me doing this. The news comes out, right? It's favorable. Bitcoin drops, then makes the reversal. Alternatively, CPI data, sideways, it comes out, it goes up, Bitcoin rises, then drops. These are scenarios that could happen. But then we go and look at Bitcoin's price action right now. It is very controlled. And then articles like this, don't worry, the sell pressure might be over and what have you, okay? We ain't going to know about anything until tomorrow. My recommendation is that you wait until tomorrow. Wait till the CPI data comes out. I mean, come on, it's going to be before the market opens. at least you're going to see two reactions. You're going to get the reaction at 1:30, then you're going to get the initial market reaction. You got unemployment claims and then the bond auction as well. And then we go into a pretty boring Friday itself. But just do yourselves a favor and don't be looking to get exposure until the data comes out. This is the biggest event, because this is going to dictate if Powell is justified in saying he's going to be cutting the interest rates in September, because they can just change it up as much as quickly as they want. Inflation goes up, yeah, we need a little bit more data. And that will just ruin all of what we're witnessing in the stock market. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Any questions, guys? Any questions? Here we go. So, these last 3 days have been backside for Bitcoin market. How do you trade these whack conditions? And given those fire setups and info you give. Look, man, this is why I tell you what, we've had more success trading Bitcoin in the Asian session than we have done during the New York session. This session right here, okay? We on the Monday, we were expecting Bitcoin to drop, and we saw the success of that. Happy days. In the Asian session, brought Bitcoin back up again. Awesome. Then last night, we projected Bitcoin's move to the upside. Happy days. And then we're projecting a specific move to happen inside of this range today, and it's just taken forever. And then Ethereum near enough completed the projection. It did make the move up, but not too aggressively. But they made the move to the upside, okay? The only thing that worked today was gold. Gold made the move up. We got the projection clean on that one. And oil made the move up, okay? And when you don't, and this is why I choose those assets to trade or provide setups. I trade the NASDAQ because I can get quick fills and the speeds of moves. You want to see NASDAQ flavor? Just look, man. Just look at what I deal with every single day. I got movement, ladies and gentlemen. You can't mess with NASDAQ. Look at that. That's just killer movements right there. It's wonderful. Look at the fun and games you can have with that. Look at that. Brilliant. But it does take some steel to play NASDAQ, especially when you want to put down size. It does take some steel. Straight up. It's a very difficult asset. It's so temperamental. And today, the S&P was making the highs. It was making its all-time highs, but NASDAQ hadn't taken it yet. And that was the clue for me. When I came back to the charts, I was like, wow. I was noticing that because I was in a position whilst the S&P was making the move to the upside and clearing the all-time highs again. NASDAQ hadn't cleared it. And then you saw what happened to the NASDAQ. It continued to move up, but I wasn't available at the time. So never mind. Okay. But again, it's all down to what you decide to trade. I mean, for example, just to get you guys aligned with it, the BTCC platform, okay? It is the new exchange that we're partnered up with. It's the preferred exchange that we are with. You get 10% deposits and you win loads of gifts if you hit a certain amount of volume, okay? Now, it's been around for some time, 12 years and what have you. 39 billion, 24-hour trading volume. There's no issue with liquidity with this company, okay? Look at the markets you can trade, all right? So if you just go to the markets, click that. You can trade the NASDAQ and the S&P, all right? So you just go over here. Tokenized stocks and commodities. NASDAQ is Tech 100. S&P, right there. You got gold, Netflix, Meta. Where is it? Silver. You've got NVIDIA as well. So you can take advantage of the same moves. And if you don't have an alternative asset, you may be fixated on cryptocurrency, all right? But the time you're spending waiting for Bitcoin to do something, you could switch over to the Tech 100 market, which is NASDAQ on BTCC. Now, anyone in America hasn't got the problem because you don't need a KYC for this and you don't need to use VPN. You only need KYC when you start using fiat, when you deposit with fiat. Because they are heavily regulated, they've got to comply with the rules if you're dealing with fiat. But there's nothing stopping you from transferring from a crypto exchange to this exchange. You don't need KYC for that, all right? And it's especially for Americans, all right? But you can trade the NASDAQ and the S&P. I strongly recommend you have an alternative asset because you're going to be sat at your charts all day. You're on the platform anyway. You're trading crypto on here. So if you've got the opportunity to exploit NASDAQ and S&P, jump on it if you're seeing the movement. If Bitcoin ain't doing it for you. So like for someone today, If you traded Solana, you wouldn't have got anywhere today unless you were in a short. But it would have been a pain in the ass because look at the choppiness of it all. Even Ethereum, it did make a move up, but it came straight back down to only end up in exactly the same place that it was. And then you go look at the NASDAQ and the S&P. Look at that, man. Killer movements. And they're doing it all the time. There is never a day they don't do it unless it's a news announcement day where they tend to get a little bit quiet. All right? But most of the time, NASDAQ and S&P, they're pulling out flavor like this every day. That's why I trade it. I need that volatility. Because it suits my strategy. It suits my personality. You know? Check those guys out, guys. It's in the description of this live stream. Get involved, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about with BTCC. All right? Cool. Now, go back into Bitcoin. What's it doing? Nothing. XRP. Anyways. I'm seeing an XRP formation on Bitcoin. Well, you know what, James Thomas? Good on you, bro. Good on you. Because I can recommend financial advice. That will be, if you buy XRP at the price that it is now, there is a high probability it will be exactly the same price in a few months' time. Please do not take that literally, but let's pretend we're in a different world right now. Not fine. It's common sense here now. Not financial advice. Common sense. It's XRP we're talking about now. All right. Where can I watch the CPI announcement? You can watch the CPI announcement on this chart right here. It's going to have a little timer, and it will count down, and then it will reveal it. Happy days. It's not a video. It's not a live performance or anything like that. Powell ain't going to be spitting no words. It's just the statistical data that comes out tomorrow at 1:30 UK time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. Okay? What else we got? Tino, please tell us how to get the charts like you. I've been following you since a long time. Just tell us how to get your charts for free. The chart is free. Just go search Traders Reality Indicator, bang, and install it. Job done. Just make sure you favorite it, and then you've got it. Happy days. It's all there. And go into the Discord. The Discord's got everything in there. Everything is in the Discord, ladies and gentlemen. Can you please explain how to trade the VWASP? I'm finishing this poll up here, all right, just to put that into perspective. Yes, it says no WASP jokes, please, all right? I'm not talking no VWASP. Oh, the Discord invite has expired. Okay. Yeah, you like that one, yeah? The VWASP. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Again, just be very mindful. This move to the downside with Bitcoin could be fake in the sense where it could be a little bit of an induction to get people to get rid of some Bitcoin so that other players can step in and buy it. But we're only going to know the proof of this move when the CPI data comes out tomorrow. If it's favorable for the US and we do see inflation going down, then investors will then be looking to start changing the way they're placing their bets and distribute money elsewhere. Okay? We can see that the bonds market is starting to improve. They're buying bonds, especially with the bond auction that happened today. So what did they say last night? They said that you want to start getting involved in bonds because that's where it all then determines the change in the economy per se and the change of investor sentiment. We're going to see NASDAQ correct down so that they can start buying up again. And then it's going to go on to heights and heights once everything starts to come into play in line with the data, of course. But if we don't get the data that suggests that inflation has come down, then it's going to be a different ball game. Dollar's going to go up. Bitcoin's going to take a shoe bag. Just wait until tomorrow's data comes out, all right? Then you'll know exactly where you stand because they will make a move up. If it's good news, it'll make a move up. Then they will pull it straight back down. That reversal back down is a quick opportunity to load up, and then everything goes yippee-ki-yay to the upside, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a wonderful evening. Be sure to like and subscribe on the way out if you've enjoyed tonight's flavor. I'm going to buzz off. I need to stop that. Mad love and respect. Peace.